Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief brought to you by Lay of the Land. And it's chilly here in the Holy Land this time of the year. It's cold, it's wet, my chest is tight. I seem to be complaining endlessly. However, I'll stop with the complaining and get on with the headlines because that's what you come here for every Monday to Thursday. So let's start with news. I think everybody is waiting for a ruling from the International Court of Justice. This follows South Africa filing charges of genocide against the Jewish state. Now, today, South African publication News 24 put out a broadcast saying that a provisional ruling is expected on Friday. However, neither South Africa's Department of Justice or Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs are aware of this. But it gets a bit more, how shall we say, of a mystery, because News 24 is reporting that the South African delegation is in The Hague. Do they know something that we don't? Well, we are going to wait until Friday to see exactly what the 17-judge panel rules. Both South Africa and Israel made their cases towards the International Court of Justice, and Israel flatly refutes and denies any claims of genocide. Yesterday, over 200 US congressmen and women signed an open letter expressing their disgust at what they call the false and dangerous allegations against the State of Israel. They denounced the case at the ICJ and also used quite a bit of strong language against South Africa. The congressmen and women say that the US and Israel's allies must condemn it, and many have. Countries like France, Germany, the United Kingdom have all condemned these proceedings, as well as the Czech Republic and many others. In fact, 134 countries stand on the side of Israel, as opposed to those standing with South Africa that include some of the grossest human rights violators. The congressmen and women in their letter also say that the United States must offer Israel any and all appropriate support. Now, what is very, very interesting is that South Africa has a specialized deal with the United States. It's called the Goa Deal. You'll have to look that up to find out more what it's about. And many are saying that if South Africa continues on this trajectory to align itself with rogue players, Venezuela, Cuba, Russia, Iran, Hamas, this could not bode well for South Africa's economy and South Africa's international status in the future. We now go to the Gaza Strip, where negotiations are underway about a possible truce. Earlier this week, Hamas refused a 2-month ceasefire. Yes, all of those out there calling for a ceasefire, Hamas turned down an opportunity for a 2-month ceasefire, which would see the release of the hostages. However, negotiations are underway for a 1-month ceasefire. Anyone trying to figure out Hamas's logic there, please let us know. So what we do know about this potential deal is that it would see the exchange of hostages in exchange for the release of Palestinian prisoners and more aid let into the Gaza Strip. Now, what are the holdups to the negotiations? Well, Israel demands that the leaders of Hamas be exiled from the Gaza Strip and Hamas dismantled completely. Hamas, of course, disagree with that. They have said that no negotiations will continue until there is a pause on attacks on the city of Khan Yunis. Yesterday, the IDF announced that they had surrounded the city of Khan Yunis, believed to be a terror hotspot for Hamas fighters, and are advancing more and more in towards the city. United Kingdom's Foreign Secretary or Foreign Minister David Cameron, ahead of his visits to the State of Israel, said that he calls for a pause to hostilities to bring in more potential aid. And speaking of aid, families of hostages as well as families of those serving in the IDF inside the Gaza Strip have marched on the Kerem Shalom crossing. They are protesting the amount of humanitarian aid let into the Strip. Now, I want to be very clear. They are not protesting that humanitarian aid is going in. Israel is proud of the fact that we are sending in aid and are complying with what we need to comply with regards to the laws of armed conflict and the Geneva Convention. What they are objecting to is that humanitarian aid is going in, but we don't know whether or not our hostages have received medical aid and medical attention. And they're protesting to the fact that we are sending in a lot but not getting any hostages out. The National Public Diplomacy Directorate confirmed earlier this week that over 10,000 humanitarian aid trucks have gone into the Gaza Strip. And one of the big issues that we have is what happens to the aid once it is in the Strip. There have been many reports backed by Palestinians that not only are Hamas hijacking aid trucks, but they are selling humanitarian aid at exorbitant prices to the very people it's meant to help. Egypt's President al-Sisi says that Israel is delaying the entry of aid. However, the COGAT unit, which is the unit responsible for coordination of Gaza and the territories, has said there is no limit to the amount of aid that can go in and is going in. However, we do reserve the right to inspect the trucks before they go in because we don't know what could be going in along with humanitarian aid. And finally, a good news story because we so desperately need it, especially after a day like yesterday that was so devastating. Mikey, the Malinois, Mikey is a she-dog, and as part of the canine unit known as Oket, was severely injured by a grenade when she went inside a building to clear it for explosives. Now, Mikey's handler, who we will call D, fought like a demon to save her life. Mikey was medevaced by the soldiers to the army vet, and they fought to save Mikey's life. Now, what is interesting is Mikey became the first dog to ever receive care in the hyperbaric chamber. And I really urge you all to go into the site called All Israel News or All for Israel, something like that, and look for the story of Mikey, the IDF dog. It's about 20 minutes. It's in Hebrew with English subtitles. You will need tissues because I blubbed like a baby all the way through it, but it does have a happy ending. Mikey was treated in the hyperbaric chamber, and she actually went through the process of PTSD. Anyway, long story short, as much as Mikey suffered from her injuries and she is blind, Mikey is doing great. She was released from hospital. She is playing. She is running around. She has earned the right, in my opinion, to have a really large steak. And that just goes to show that every single one of our soldiers, whether they be human or canine, is as important as the other to all of us in Israel, and our dogs do absolutely invaluable work. So that brings me to the end of today's edition of the Israel Brief. Don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. We have a fantastic article there about South Africa, the ICJ, and AGOA. Very, very important for our American viewers. It's written by Grant Goshen. You can read it there. It will be up on our Facebook page a little later today. You can find us at Lottle's site. Our YouTube channel is at the Israel Brief. Please click on that subscribe button. Like, you guys know what to do. And we're on Twitter at @LayOfTheLand 5 or X. Who can keep up? I can't keep up. Anyway, guys, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I'm going to take care of me, and I'll see you again tomorrow.